So everyone is saying Zhezhi is the best in slot for Carlotta. But is it really? In this video, I'll show you every single team that you can make with Carlotta in different game modes so you can really see which support will fit her the best. And by the end of this video, it should tell you if Zhezhi is worth your astrites or not in case you haven't pulled for her already. By the way, for these tests, I will be using my S0R1 Carlotta, just so you know. Okay, here we go. First, we're going to start with my Zhezhi. I'm going to do a bunch of runs and take the best one to reduce the effect of RNG. Let's start with Tower of Adversity. I'm also going to use a pretty easy rotation that anyone can do. I know it's possible to min-max every input, but the whole point of this video is to show you a realistic and practical result. In case you didn't know, we start by charging the concerto of everyone in the team and make sure we use Carlotta's skill to charge her forte before starting the rotation. So we start with the healer, in this case, Shorekeeper. When we get her outro, we swap to Zhezhi, fill her forte with basic attacks. Once it is done, you can use her skill, do one more basic attack, and spam her skill 3 times. Finish with the Liberation and Echo in case you're using the Heron. I'm using the new coordinated attack set since I found it performs better, so the Echo doesn't matter much here. Then you should have her outro already so you can swap to Carlotta. Start with her skill and instantly hold attack to perform her forte heavy attack. Immediately after that, you want to spam her Liberation and hold basic attack until she's done with all her powerful shots, and we finish the rotation with the Fatal Finale. Skill again and Echo before swapping back to Shorekeeper. And at this point, it's pretty much over already, in just about a minute. Now, I'll quickly show you how she performs in the overworld, like when you're farming bosses and echoes for your next character. No one really talks about that, but I think it's really important because that's where people spend the most time. The tower is only one time every 14 days, you know. So yeah, I think you can already see the problem that we're gonna have with this team, right? The rotation is so long, anything will die, even before reaching Carlotta. So that's not ideal because like this, you're relying mostly on your Zhezhi to kill stuff. Or you play with only the healer and Carlotta, but then this video would make no sense because we're trying to figure out the best teammate for her. The next hyper carry style is Taoqi. Since she has a skill damage buff on her outro, she is a strong sub-DPS to use for Carlotta. The only downside is her concerto gains. It's super slow, so we're gonna lose a ton of damage while she's on the field trying to get her outro. The rotation is pretty similar. Since she won't do that much damage, you're just gonna try to get her outro as fast as possible, but everything else is the same as the Zhezhi comp. As you can see, we cleared this time in about the same time as Zhezhi, so I would say the difference is really not that huge. But let's see in the overworld now. I'm just gonna do the same bosses and echoes, but without too much surprise, it's the same problem as Zhezhi. The rotation take too much time, so you end up killing anything before even performing one full rotation. Next up is Sanhua. I know she doesn't buff skill damage or Glacio at all, but she has an extremely fast concerto gain and her S6 still gives a 20% attack buff. So in this comp, we're essentially trading some buffs on Carlotta for a faster rotation, which can be a good thing. As you can see, the field time for Sanhua is super small. We just cast her skill in Liberation, then detonate the ice before casting the Heron and swapping to Carlotta. Everything feels super quick. No time wasted doing basic attacks. On tanky bosses, I didn't really notice a difference. I could still clear tower in about a minute, but when it comes to the overworld, it should help getting to Carlotta faster, which means you will be able to kill stuff faster. For an hyper carry team, I think this one is my favorite because of the fast rotation without really losing much damage. While overall, Sanhua is an insane sub-DPS. She is low-key 5-star worthy, especially when you get her S6 with the 20% buff. And finally, let me show you a different type of team, the Quick Swap Duo DPS team. Of course, for this role, Changli is by far the best because of her quick swap potential, and let's be honest, her gameplay is so much fun. This is the team I use for basically everything now, but you will see why. So, in Tower, I found that it does slightly less damage than the hyper carry teams, or maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I feel like I wasn't doing so bad. The average player would probably do something similar, so that's fine. In this team, we're basically swap canceling every time on Changli's skill or dashes, and on Carlotta, we want to swap cancel on her skill, echo, and forte skill. There's only one exception to that. It's when her liberation is ready, then you don't want to swap anymore. Instead, do her normal rotation, which is skill, forte, powerful shots until the fatal finale, and then you can go back to the quick swap playstyle. It's a bit tricky at first, I know, but once you start getting the muscle memory, it becomes so much fun. Now, let's see in the overworld what it can do. This is where the fun really begins, because as you can see, you can pretty much kill anything in a matter of seconds, since you don't need to stack the buffs beforehand. Overall, one of the best team you can use for exploration and echo farming. Also, since we're using two different elements, you won't get stuck on an immune echo. Well, that's it for this video. Now that should give you an answer if you're still considering pulling for Zhezhi. I think you should skip her. Your astrites are precious and so many good characters are coming, so you probably don't want to pull for Zhezhi. Now tell me in the comments in which team are you playing Carlotta, and don't forget to subscribe if you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one.